I am East African. I'm half Tanzanian, half Ugandan, and I was born and raised in Kenya. I'm a mom. That's a new mom, so that's kind of like my top priority right now. And I'm a creative, an entrepreneur. And now I'm a full-time entrepreneur. And Roro was my first baby, now kind of like my second. I started because I thought it would be easy. I was like, oh, how hard is it to just put some leaves together, you know, make a really good salad and make them in my home all the time? Like, how difficult would it be to like open a shop and make them? And then I learned how difficult it is. So I think there's a misconception that healthy food has to be a sacrifice. It has to taste bad. I have to be hungry after I've eaten it. I have to be on a diet. And kind of engaging and getting people over that hump has been a bit of a challenge, but it's really exciting when you find people who are like, oh, I don't like brown rice. And then they have it and they're like, oh my God, I didn't think I would enjoy that, right? We are really focused on working with locally sourced ingredients. The ideal situation for us would be to source directly from farmers, and it's something that we're working towards. I mean, 90% of our menu is fruits and vegetables that we source locally. So we get fresh fruit and fresh vegetables delivered to us on a daily basis. And so we're working towards sourcing these directly from the people who actually grow the food. I think health food industry in Africa is really, really growing. And I think in 5 years, we're gonna see more options, right? And for me, it would be lovely to have more Roro-esque type of options across Africa. Growing a brand, recognized as a brand, that is actually woman-owned and also African-owned and kind of compared on international standards and platforms, that to me would be success. A homegrown brand with a woman backing it and an African woman. For the longest time, people would ask, are you the owner? And I'm like, no, no, no. Sometimes I'd pretend it's not me, you know, I'd like to look like, you know, one of the staff. Imposter syndrome, it's a term I used to hear and never quite understood. And then it hit me. Imposter syndrome is so real and I experience it all the time. So even just like sitting here and telling my story, this is like so difficult for me, right? I didn't want to be associated with what I was growing until it got to the level that I wanted it to be. With more time, I'm realizing I have to get out of my own way. I see the goal. Obviously, we're on like a journey, and I feel until we get to the goal, then there's nothing to talk about and there's nothing to give. A lot of what I've said is I would love to see more women like representing their stories, but I didn't want to represent mine. I'm like, let successful women who've done it and are sitting on the platforms and are the big brand names and everybody knows, that's when you can talk about what you're doing, right? But when you're still on the journey, you really have nothing to show or give. And I then realized that that's imposter syndrome. When I hear somebody talk about what they're going through or their business, I'm always like, wow. And it's not always because they're so successful. It's just like hearing, like sharing in those issues that they're facing in their business. Women entrepreneurs or just entrepreneurs in general. I'm like, yeah, and it's very inspiring for me. And then I realized I want to see more of that, so then I also need to give a little bit more of that. So I don't have to arrive, and even as I'm on the journey, I still have gems, lessons, and I've gotten up and I'm doing it, and that in itself is something.